wealth, happiness, health, harmony in relationships. All our desires are born in thoughts and are embodied into life by thoughts as well. But how many of us truly know how to be masters of our own mind? There once lived an ordinary person. He was not distinguished by brilliant intellect, nor did he shine with special education. His life flowed measuredly and calmly, until fate presented an unexpected gift, an inheritance from a distant relative in the form of a ship. Our hero knew no more about the sea than about flights to the moon, but the idea of travel captivated him entirely. He assembled a crew of experienced sailors and gave them all orders for managing the vessel. When the ship safely sailed away from shore, the newly minted captain decided to inspect his possessions. At the bow of the ship, his attention was drawn to a man who continuously turned a large wheel first in one direction, then in the other. "What is this person doing?" he inquired of one of the sailors. "This is the helmsman, Captain. He steers the ship," came the answer. "I see no benefit in this bustle. There's water all around. The sails move the ship excellently. Set the sails to full speed and let the ship sail by itself. And when land or another ship appears on the horizon, then we'll call the helmsman." The crew carried out the captain's order. The ship was left at the mercy of sea winds, which threw it from side to side like a toy. Soon the vessel capsized, and only a few managed to escape. But doesn't each of us own a ship far more skillful and complex, more valuable and powerful? Our mind. This amazing ship is capable of crossing oceans of time, carrying us to the most distant shores of dreams, leading us through storms of failures to sunny harbors of success. But how often do we pay attention to controlling this wonderful vessel? In the morning we wake up, and immediately the flow of thoughts begins to carry us. Like a turbulent river, anxieties about work, worries about money, doubts about ourselves. All this becomes the current that determines the direction of our day. We don't take the helm in our hands, but simply float with the current, wherever it carries us. Don't we allow the winds of rage and passion to toss the ship of our thoughts from side to side? A colleague said something unpleasant, and we're already boiling with anger. Our thoughts rush about like a ship in a storm. We saw someone else's success on social media, and envy becomes a following wind that carries us far from our own course. How many times do we allow random acquaintances, aimless phone scrolling, office gossip, and empty conversations to lead our life in a direction we would never choose for ourselves? Like passengers, we allow every passerby to take the helm of our mind. One says, "Let's sail there," and we change course. Another shouts, "No, better in the other direction," and we turn again. How often do we lose control over thoughts, allowing other people to control them, until we find ourselves on a deserted shore next to the wreckage of our own life? Years pass, and we suddenly understand. We're living not our own life, working at the wrong job, surrounded by the wrong people. The ship of our mind has brought us not at all where we wanted to get. Mind rules everything in the world, but we too often neglect its power and don't understand it. We live like owners of a treasury who don't know what riches are stored in their basements. Even when someone gives due credit to our achievements, don't we believe that the work of consciousness lies beyond our control? That inspiration came by itself, like luck in a lottery. Here a person wrote a beautiful book, and everyone admires his talent, but he himself thinks, "Just got lucky." The muse visited. Another created a successful business, but believes, found himself in the right place at the right time. We don't believe that we ourselves are capable of directing the power of our mind. We agree, mind is a great force, but then we think that only someone who was born a genius can use it, as if mind is an exclusive sports car that is available only to the chosen ones. And, of course, we don't count ourselves among them. We're convinced that we got a bicycle, while others race around in Ferraris. But think, if you had the most perfect ship in the world, but you couldn't control it, what use would it be? And if you had a simple boat, but you knew all the secrets of navigation, couldn't you reach any shore? Are we true captains of our ships, leading them to safe harbors of happiness, peace, and success? Honestly speaking, looking at the world, one gets the impression that most are not such captains. Look around. How many people complain about circumstances, blame others for their failures, feel like victims of fate? Moreover, many will say, the modern world imposes such demands and limitations on our lives that becoming a captain of one's own mind is simply impossible. Too much stress, no time, need to survive. These excuses sound like admissions that we've surrendered the helm to external circumstances. But here's the paradox. Achieving captain's rank is much simpler than it seems. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. At first it seems impossible, but once you feel the balance, everything becomes natural. One needs to start by accepting several basic truths and making a firm promise to develop the best character traits. The ability to control thoughts to change an already formed character is not magic. It's a skill. Just as a gardener can change the direction of a plant's growth, so we can change the direction of our life. Lately, more and more people are studying such ability. We've discovered the benefits from training consciousness are infinite. The results don't disappear. It's like an investment in a bank that never goes bankrupt and always brings interest. At the same time, we see only a tiny part of its possibilities, like studying the ocean while standing on shore. Unfortunately, few people make efforts to direct thoughts in the right direction and engage in self-improvement. On the contrary, we continue to leave everything to chance, to thousands of circumstances that swirl over us, like clouds of hungry horseflies, and sting, until some terrible incident, heavy loss, or fatigue from constant failures finally forces us to take action. This is like waiting for a house to catch fire to remember about fire safety. But isn't it more reasonable to install smoke detectors in advance? There is no more important knowledge and greater responsibility to oneself than control over one's own thoughts. This is the foundation on which everything else is built. Like strong roots of a tree determine whether it will withstand a storm. Many of us believe that the flow of thoughts is very difficult to control. We get the impression managing the activity of mind is an incredibly difficult or even impossible task, as if we're standing before a turbulent river and thinking that changing its flow is possible only with explosives and heavy machinery. But nothing is further from the truth. Controlling thoughts is more like the art of a gardener who doesn't fight with the plant, but gently guides its growth. Drop by drop, water wears away stone. Thought by thought, we form our reality. All of us, however busy, educated, or ignorant we may be, possess all the forces, all the time, that are necessary for controlling thoughts and changing character. This doesn't require special talents or many hours of meditation in the mountains. This can be done on the way to work, during lunch, before sleep. Everyone has unresolved problems, unfulfilled tasks. We strive for different results. Someone wants to build a business, someone to find love, someone to find inner peace. But achieving goals through controlling thoughts is available to everyone. Like air is available to all who know how to breathe. We must never forget, in our hands lies the power to build or destroy our own nature. This power works constantly, regardless of whether we realize it or not. The question is only whether we will direct it or allow it to act chaotically. A sculptor doesn't make random strikes without looking at the marble. He sees the future statue in the stone block and removes everything unnecessary that prevents it from manifesting. Looking closely at the material, he makes one precise chip after another, keeping the image of the final result in consciousness. This is exactly how we should act, carving out characters, forming environment, creating life. Every thought is a strike of the chisel. Every decision is a choice of what to leave and what to remove. We must know what we want, believe that we can achieve it, and dedicate ourselves to fulfilling the task. But here constancy is important. One cannot carve a statue with one strike. One cannot change life with one correct thought. This is a process requiring patience and consistency, just as an athlete trains muscles. So we must train our mind, Otherwise, we will unreasonably use the power of mind and fail in achieving a life full of beauty, harmony, happiness, and success. It's important to remember, a sculptor's chisel in the hands of an ignorant person can ruin the most beautiful statue, and in the hands of a criminal become a murder weapon. However, there is a difference between an ordinary tool and thought. Thought is always active. Therefore, we need to be ready to act at any moment. We cannot put it in a toolbox and take it out when necessary. Every thought, our own or coming from outside, changes some aspect of life. If we want to protect our life, we should hold correct thoughts, displacing bad ones with them. We need to be captains of the priceless cargo of our mind. That, in general, is the whole lesson. Controlling thoughts is forming the life we want to see. Those who learn this lesson correctly will be able to avoid misfortune and many heavy experiences. Otherwise, misfortunes will forcibly make them learn this greatest of life's lessons. If you have questions or suggestions, write in the comments. I will definitely answer each one. Subscription will help receive new information and become a participant in this fascinating process of self-knowledge.